experience as a director of nursing in a comparable sized nursing home, which is fabulous, and additionally, her last few years have been spent on the licensing side, specifically with the Department of Health. So therefore, she has an understanding of the types of things that we need to be sure that we key in on to make sure that our deficiencies get less and less so that our star rating goes up. The reason I'm honing in on that importance of the director of nursing and her qualifications for that position, director of nursing, and then on the licensing side, is because I need to inform you that our overall star rating at Graysdale has gone from 1 star to 2 stars. I'm sorry, I said that backwards.
You said it backwards.
Freudian slip, from 2 stars to 1 star. Now, we knew it was coming. We knew it was coming, but it has officially arrived, and I just wanted to convey to council that 1 star is not who we are. We are much better than 1 star, and that is revealed in things like our satisfaction surveys for our residents and for our family members. They have gone up in terms of score. Usually we're averaging around a 4, now we're averaging around a 5. We also have put pieces and processes in place so that our star ratings will continue to get better, and I'm specifically talking about the quality measures. The quality measures has always been 1 star for the last 4 years, and that's where we have to improve. And we are doing things to improve that. We have the wound team, we have the fall team, we have the one-on-one team, we have the antipsychotic team. All those teams are designed to focus on the specific issue that they have and make that be better, whether it means reduced, whether it means less, whether it means more. That's what they key in on. So I wanted to let you know that that's where we are. We are moving forward with so many different moving parts and making sure that we can get our star rating up as possible. Raymond has an article that he will talk about. I forwarded it to you earlier. It talks about how the Department of Health has collected so much more money in the last 3 months than they have in the last 3 years. And that is to demonstrate the trickle-down effect when the federal government and when the Auditor General keyed in on how Department of Health was not providing proper oversight for our nursing homes. They then were taken to task, and they then are passing that down to the nursing homes in terms of citations and that sort of thing, which is what we are seeing. And you folks remember we had 9 citations in our last survey. They were low-level citations. What that means is no harm was done to the resident. Still, we don't like citations. However, when I say low-level citations, that's things like a wheelchair was left in the hallway. That's not a good thing, but no harm came to a patient, and it is a citation. A laptop was left open. Okay, the screensaver was up. Still, laptop needs to be closed. Not a good thing, definitely a citation. So I wanted to give you an idea that the low-level citations are things that we don't like. There are standard operating procedures that we are making sure we're attending to, so those low-level deficiencies are non-existent, and we're going to stay away from the big deficiencies, we've decided, because they're too big and we are not about that. Our care is better than that. So, any questions about the star rating? Yes?
So, in December, overall we were 4.
Yeah.
January we were 3. February we were 3. March we were 2. Now we're 1.
Yes.
Our compliance in December was 5. Then we were 4. Then we were 3. Then we were 2. Our quality measures, can you be a 0?
No.
Okay, so we've always been a 1, the lowest level for that. So and then I'm looking at our census. So last year we averaged about 662, and now we're averaging 650. So that's 11 down. Putting that out, if I did my math right, that's like $1 million for the year. Obviously, I'm concerned. I'm concerned for the safety of the patients, but I'm also concerned, is there a relationship between that star rating, the quality that the people are getting, and more importantly, the quality that's being reported that they're getting, and the fact that we're like averaging 11 less on the census per month?
Okay, so there were 6 questions there, and
Well, the easy one is, what's the impact of the star rating on our census?
actually, we don't see an impact because we are averaging in April at 662. So I'm not sure, maybe that number was a couple of weeks ago, but we are averaging in April 662. We've budgeted 660, so we are definitely above budget. Now, you do remember, January, definitely we were lower, but we've beefed that up again. So in terms of quality, we are still providing good quality. And you remember this whole convoluted methodology that they have for the star rating. It's like the half-life, the shelf life, that continues. So everything you know about that remains the same. The quality hasn't changed, and we are doing everything that we can for the quality measures to beef them up. But our census was low, January-ish, little December, little in February. Now it's back up.
Yeah. By the way, I'm getting the figures from the chart that the average for January through April is 250, and the average last year was 662. That's where I'm getting at.
And is that from a website?
No, it's from the email you sent us.
Something must be funny, because I'm looking at what we sent, and it says January of 640.
No, okay, so January through April, it's 650.
Yeah, 650.
Yeah, 650.
Yes.
And then last year it was 662.
Correct.
Which is 11 less. And if you do it 11 times 325 comes up to $76,000 per month. Take that out for the year, that's almost $1 million.
Yes, that financial impact is absolutely an issue, which is why we're making sure our census is continuing to climb.
Yeah.
So right now we're at 4 months at 650, and you're looking at the year, which averaged out at 662.
Yeah.
And the bottom half of last year, we were much higher. We were up at 667, 680. So our goal is to get back up to that now, so that we are ending up averaging at 662.
I'm really concerned, and I know you are too, but I'm going back to this star rating. I'm really concerned with that. I mean, that just looks like it just looks bad.
It does, which is why I wanted to address it straight up, and why I wanted to say 1 star is not who we are. It is definitely the rating, and it has to do with the deficiencies and that G level deficiency that we had, and we're all aware of that. And we have to live with that and get better, and we are. And that's the reality. But the things that we are doing are going to help us bring that star rating up as fast as we can. Because there is a shelf life, there is a methodology to the calculation. Next year, we're not going to be 4 stars. But if we continue to implement the things we are doing, those low-level deficiencies, those little standard operating procedure things that we goof up, we won't be goofing up. We will be sure that we're paying attention to the big things. Quality measures is a big component of the star rating, and that is where the psychotropic medication piece comes in, the wound care, the falls, all of that. And part of the methodology is when you're 1 star, you don't get to gain a star. If your quality measures are just 1 star, that really hamstrings you in the methodology. So we have got to focus on quality measures, get them back up, and then our overall rating will come up. And as long as I'm being historical here, remember back in early 2016, CMS, the feds, the Center for Medicaid and Medicare Services, gave about 15 additional quality measures between the short-term and the long-term stays at a nursing home. Now, they did it in dribs and drabs. One month it was 4, the next month it was additional 5. Bottom line is, those are brand new quality measures that we are being measured against that we were not before, and they changed the whole star rating in February of 2015. So all of these things are just adding to the 4, the 3, the 2, the 1. And now we're here, and now we're only going to get better because we have the plan in place that covers everything, including our director of nursing candidate.
Guys,
Sure.
you're closer to this. What's your take on where we are?
Yeah, I was at the Graysdale Nursing Home party when we celebrated 4 stars. Bob was there too.
I was there too.
Mr. Brown. And I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around what has gone on. I know we've got a new administrator from Premier, but one of the things that they do out in the private sector is when they have an upcoming inspection, like a JACO inspection, everybody's on their best behavior. All the drinks are put away and the laptops are folded down, and there's lots of preparation so that everybody passes these inspections.
In addition, we have Premier do what we call a mock survey, where they do that very thing. They pretend they're Department of Health and come through, find out, as an independent reviewer, find out what we need to change to beef up to be ready for the inspection. Exactly. And that's why...
Have we not had any heads up on these inspections coming in?
Absolutely. Now, we don't know when they're coming exactly, except we know they come in the winter of or the early part of the calendar year. But no, we routinely run through that mock survey. We routinely try to be on our toes.
Because when I'm out at the hospital and they know that there's a JACO survey coming up within the next week, that's all you hear about all day long.
Yes.
So, I'd be actually interested to see what some of these low-level citations were.
Well, they were exactly like I mentioned. Things like the laptop was left open, the wheelchair was in the hallway, penetration in the door, like a hole in the door. Plus some of the things you have to remember, we technically have 3 sections built in the 20s, 50s, and 70s. So if you get some things with the facility, when you get one ding, it reverberates across all 3, so it shows up as 3 separate deficiencies. That's another thing that convolutes it.
Sure.
So there's a lot of things, but we are beefing up our census. It's a timing issue. It's not that we were so poor with our quality of care that nobody was nobody wanted admission to the nursing home, so our census dropped. That was not the case at all. That was not the case at all.
Can I jump in here? I know.
Sure. Mr. Dietz first, and then Mr. Warner.
I just had a question. In our contract with Premier, are they accountable or to the drop in this? That's part of what we're paying them for, is to make sure we're on top of all these things. So is there, I don't want to say cashback or if we're not living up to certain standards or
No, the contract is not settled that way, and unfortunately, on any given day, we don't have Premier staff saying, move that wheelchair. That is incumbent upon our staff, and that is where our staff need to rise and shine. And we have wonderful staff, and they do, and we're going to get better about that, because these low-level deficiencies are just that. They're just not necessary.
Because I would think the inspections are something that Premier, being as many facilities, they'd be the ones to really make sure that we're ready for them when they come in. I think it would be a real key objective that they would have.
That's an excellent point. But are you?
Yeah.
I just want to jump in. I want to bring this to a different level. There's optics and then there's access. Okay, we are the second largest nursing home. We have 680 plus beds. We're in regulations with beds that are 100 and 200 bed facilities. Okay. The fact that we have opened our facility up to everyone, where you get a person who may be suicidal, a person who has special needs that we're just learning about, this is changing every year from my understanding, especially the regulations for those types of people, if I'm not correct. And the fact that we had that one person, and I mean to hang this on this is the way it is. It's like when you're a young kid and you do something bad, you can't get rid of it. It's like ARD. You did it and you can't get rid of it. It takes 5 years. So we had an incident. That incident counted for like a gazillion points compared to a laptop being opened. And that drew down everything. Had nothing to do with the care at the facility. Has to do with the point systems. Has to do with the ability of someone who is looking for something to, it's a fault program. That's what they do. And they look for, they nitpick, if I may use that term. And I'm not one of those people that will back off from that, because as an educator, when they used to come in and judge you as a teacher, they were looking for flaws. They never look for the positive in it. They look for you to, well, you know, you left the door open and the kid was out too long at the bathroom or something. They pick on ridiculous things, and then they write it up on a review, and then you go in and you argue, and you pull your union people in and you get it changed. So this is on a different scale, same thing. We had a few instances where we were riding very well, very high, and we opened up our doors to some people, and we changed some things, and then the federal regulations changed, and we got caught, we got hit, a few things happened. Didn't have anything to do with the care at the facility. Yeah, optically the number doesn't look good. Well, we're going to have to live with that until we get beyond a certain point of time to get our ratings back.
Okay. I agree with you to a point. Our quality measures have been consistently poor, and there's different metrics that they can measure us on for that particular star. The star is, there's a star for each of a particular aspect of the facility, and the quality measures has been consistently poor. And I'm actually encouraged that you're really kind of coming in at that particular facet of the measures, because I feel like I've been singing like a canary over these quality measures, because every time I look at it, I'm like, one star every month.
That is the place. That is the place to effectuate change. The quality measures.
And
exactly.
and I think that having a committee that's committed to fixing some of those over prescribing of antipsychotic medications and so forth, and bed sores and stuff. I mean, that's all just in good medicine. So I'm encouraged to hear what you have to say about these.
Yes.
Our plan of attack, so to speak.
Yes, that was my preface. So, any other questions? I'll turn it. Yes.
Yeah, I had one, and this kind of relates back to the director of nursing position. Was any thought given to bringing this person in at the regular level and incentivizing them should they be successful in moving up the quality measures?
Actually, we had lots of discussions like that, and fortunately, we were able to find someone with this skill set. Unfortunately, the threshold to obtain her, we were not able to do that. We needed to come in at this level so that we had the skill set we needed so that she could hold everyone else accountable, so the standard operating procedure business could be attended to. So we tried, couldn't do it.
Yeah, I think then what my concern is that we're going to hire somebody with the anticipation that they have the skill set, but what if they are not successful? There's no accountability there. That's my concern.
Actually, we have had that conversation, and part of what we've been doing for not just this position but multiple positions in the county is most new employees are on a probationary period. I think this one would be a 6-month probationary window. And if we're willing to step up and pay what is required to bring this individual with the skill set in, then we have very high expectations of immediate impact on the facility. And if after 2 or 3 months we're not seeing that trend line, some things we can't change overnight, but whether or not it's beginning to shift the culture, and that's part of what we really need to do at this stage with everything that's been discussed. Is another level of shifting the culture of that facility, going, hey, we really have to stay on top of our game at all times. You can't lax off in any way. So in addressing your concern, I have the same concern, that I'm not going to just bring someone in now for 10 years and they're not performing and paying them a very good salary. So we have very high expectations on that. And we are using that probationary period to manage new employees, make sure that they are the right hire and beginning to deliver on what we need.
Mr. Bennell.
I guess I'll talk with Mr. Vaughn after this, but I think I like the idea of having a fresh set of eyes and having somebody coming into Gracedale, maybe not next month, maybe the July meeting, if Mr. Vaughn thinks it's worthy, to have the new, provided it gets passed tonight, but the new director of nursing come before us and just give us an overview, what they see is right, what they see is wrong, and then maybe some corrective action, if that'd be.
Right, and we also had mentioned, I think it might have been 2 meetings ago, possibly having some of the members of the various quality measures teams come in and talk about what their action plans are, if they're available, certainly. I know that some of them are
Action
probably...
plans, absolutely, we can bring those in.
Sure.
Absolutely.
I think the committee as a whole has a lot of vested interest in the sustainability and the success of Gracedale. So we really want to be involved as much as we can, and we want as much information about it as we can.
Absolutely. We'll keep giving you as much as we can as well.
And we're not a hostile crowd.
Pardon me?
So we're not a hostile crowd.
You're not. Now, Raymond
Just
and the
that side
Gracedale
of the
report.
group. That side of the group is more hostile.
Not
than
at
the
all.
other side.
That's minutia. The minutia.
She's pointing at me.
Yeah.
I did send the reports ahead of time.
Yeah, I do appreciate it.
But I have copies here. Would anybody like one? Or should
I like to
just
write
hand
on
them?
mine.
Okay. I'll just hand it on.
Right on. All right.
Hey, Freddie, I know we're definitely going to give you 10 minutes at the end, okay?
You
I didn't want to make you come here for nothing. Freddie, you want to go first, actually?
Oh. You want to defer your time for Fred?
You don't mind sitting, do you?
He doesn't have a life.
Sure, next time.
Here's the cost per resident. You can see it. $255. What we say, $235.
No, I'm worried about, is that the cost? How much do we get paid?
Oh, well, we get it.
You know, the difference between
I know.
price and cost?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and get started? Yep. Okay. Admissions, there continues to be an increase in the overall census from March of 655 to 662 in April, as we discussed, and we're currently at a census of 662. I will tell you that our census has remained over budget since March, mid-March, and we haven't gone down since, and we won't go down. If anything, we'll go up. Any other questions on admissions before I go to finance? Okay. In finance, our CMI has increased from 0.86 to 0.90, CMI being case mix index. What's exciting about that is that that's going to increase the amount of monies that we receive in reimbursement for our rehab. And everyone is working very hard to get us to that CMI. And it involves a lot of things with assessments and making sure that we capture it at a certain time so that Medicare can approve the dates for that. Okay.
Does that have anything to do with the physician charting, or is that just back-end coding language?
That's actually has to do with everyone's charting, including the physician. Everyone has to jive, and it has to be within a certain time for you to capture that. If you miss it, you could miss a large amount of money. So that's why everybody has to be in sync in terms of the interdisciplinary care plan team.
That's a CMI index?
Yeah, the case mix index.
Basically, what he's saying is if they don't document how acute the patient actually might be, they're going to downcode these charts.
Correct.
So it might behoove us to get a memo out to the physicians charting and everybody else.
Oh, that's
involved.
already been done, yes. Actually, Dr. Halumza, our medical director, is very involved, and he is really focusing on that with regards to our primary care
I can see
physicians.
we're moving up, which is good.
Yeah, And we'll continue. Our goal is 1.0, which would bring us a huge increase in terms of reimbursement.
Great.
Okay, if there's no other questions.
I'm good.
Oh,
Yeah, I just, you just said it, is that this affects, this acuity affects how much we get paid.
Right.
When we get up to 1, that's where we want to be, and we're at 0.9 now. So,
Yeah.
I got it. I wanted to hear that say that, because I wasn't quite sure, but I got it now. Thanks.
Okay, thanks. All right, any other questions before I move on? Okay. With regards to nursing, as you can see, our RN, LPN, and CNA overtime is all down for the month of April. I will tell you that also our one-to-ones are down. We are down to 1 1-to-1 out of 10 when I started. It's been a process, but we've been able to do it. And the 1 1-to-1 that we have is for a couple hours a day. There's no more 24/7 one-to-ones. And we're going to continue to maintain that because the team will continue to meet on a weekly basis if we ever do get a one-to-one to see how we can reduce it, if it's safe to go that route. And it's been very successful. Okay.
You attribute a lot of these overtime costs over the last 2 months to one-to-ones?
Yeah. I mean, primarily because the one-to-ones being a 24/7 from the beginning and just trying to reduce them, I mean, that takes a lot of hours, primarily from the aides, from the nurses who, when you have the aides doing that one-to-one, then have to pitch in and help out too. So it really does affect it.
Almost seems like, I know in the private hospitals, they sometimes overschedule people in regards to anticipating this. Might actually even be cheaper than just bringing people in overtime. But
Yeah,
just a
well,
thought.
hospitals have a lot more money. They can do that. Whereas nursing homes, it's tough. I mean, we just try to keep the staff we have. And
Greystale's a not-for-profit. I mean,
yeah, it's a much larger organization, if you don't mind my saying.
I'm just saying a cost-benefit analysis might be in the works.
Yeah, it can be, definitely. I mean, we just have to get to the point where we are with our staffing and then to be able to do that. And
Because
we're
then if they're
continually
not
working-
needed, then you just send them home.
Right. The only thing is, it's kind of like a per diem, what you're talking about, and it's hard because when you send them home, then they'll say, okay, I'll go work at my other job, and then when you need them, they're like, I'm busy. Yeah, I'm just giving you an idea of what it's like, what we deal with every day, unfortunately. Compliance risk. Oh, I'm sorry. Any other questions on the nursing? No? Okay. Compliance risk. We did have one visit from the Department of Health on an anonymous complaint. It was unsubstantiated. That was on 4/28/17. There was no other issues with that. Quality measures. We are slightly higher than the benchmark with the decline in activities of daily living and antipsychotics. We continue to work with them through our designated committees as mentioned. In addition, our medical director, Dr. Halumzer, has established an antipsychotic prescribing and gradual dose reduction protocol as per the new CMS guidelines for all primary care physicians and psychiatrists. That's listed. You'll see that handout right after the benchmark. You'll see that came from Dr. Halumzer. He's going to be starting that June 1st with the primary care physicians so that everyone is on board. But I will tell you, with our quality measures, I think I mentioned this last month, where the way they measure them is like the entire year, the previous year plus now, so you're always basically taking the information from there and applying it to now, so it kind of holds you back a little bit, and it takes a while to get to the point where it shows that you're truly increasing. We've had our pharmacy rep go ahead and do her own analysis through her monthly reports. And she has stated to us, she was very excited about it. She says that she has seen a continued reduction in our antipsychotic medications for probably the past 6 months. But of course, when you look at the quality measures, it goes back a year. So that's why you may not see it there, but in reality, we are moving forward. And as we continue to move forward, you will see a continued drop between that and what Dr. Halumzer is doing with the primary care physicians. So just to give you an idea of that. You will see it, but it takes a little while to see it. Okay. And if there's no more questions regarding Quality measures. Okay. Human resources nursing, RN turnover rate is 4.9%. That would also include the director of nursing who is retiring, so it does. That's why it's a little bit high. But our LPN and CNA turnover rates have both decreased, as you can see. And then last but not least, you do see our overall star rating as a 1, our regulatory compliance as a 2, our staffing remains a 3, and our quality measures remains a 1. We were at 2 stars, as Allison had indicated. We went to 1 star because when your quality measure is a 1, then you automatically drop to a 1 star. So that's the reason why that happened. There were no additional deficiencies, nothing happened. They said when you're a 1, you drop. That's why when we were a 4, we were never a 5, because we always had the 1 in quality measures, so that was always taken away from us, if that makes sense.
Yeah, please.
Well, all right, so we've had a 1 for quality measure consistently, but yet it only dropped us down this last time? I'm not following here.
Well, you saw we went from 4 to 3 to 2 to 1. It was always considered in the formula as bringing us down, but we really, if we didn't have our quality measures as a 1, we probably would have remained
Each one of those
at,
would have been 1 higher.
right.
Okay.
We would have been the 2. We would have remained a 2.
And so then the month before, the 2 would have been a 3? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, if we get the quality measures up to 2, then we go back overall to 2. Every time we raise those quality measures, that raises us up. We raise our staffing up 1, that'll raise us as well.
All right.
So
Because I was
this-
looking at, I mean, we had a quality measure 1 last month, and it was still a 2 and a 3. That's why I'm...
Yeah, but it was 2 for like 2 minutes. Like, I mean, not actually 2 minutes, but it didn't. It was for a very short time, and then it went to 1.
Okay.
Because they do this in every quarter, so you have to wait for the new quarter, and that's when they go ahead and do it. That's why it remained that way. Okay. Any other questions?
We were at 1 all last year. So it was, so that's the thing I know that you've talked about, the quality measures being the thing that we got to work on is, that's the thing that's really, I understand the G rating. I'm on
Yeah.
top of that and the impact of that. But yeah, I'm glad you're doing some traction on these teams, the antipsychotic and the other quality teams to bring these up.
Right. I wanted to just say something to everybody. I am incredibly excited with what's going on with Graysdale and how they're improving. They're really doing a wonderful job. This 1 star, okay, we'll deal with it, but that's not who, like Allison said, that is not who we are. We are going to improve and move back up again and stay there. I'm very excited about that. I'm excited about possibility of a new DON with regulatory experience. Everyone is really on board now. They just needed direction. It was tough, but it was hard. They came from those nice deficiency-free surveys, but that wasn't realistic. Things weren't exactly where they were. Things were happening. Things may change with the inspector general who came in and started looking at things and seeing what the Department of Health was doing or not doing. And then everyone got hit hard, and that's what they're going through. There's many facilities going through the same thing we're going through. But I'm not giving up. Any good coach with a football team is not going to say, well, that's it, guys, see ya. No, we're going to continue on, we're going to move forward, and we're going to make it happen. So I just wanted to let you all know that.
Great, yeah.
Yes, I didn't want, I know that I've been concerned about this, and but I agree with you. I'm certainly not giving up on you guys. I'm concerned. Am I going to be on this like on your back?
No problem.
A lot.
Please
I
do.
am, but I have confidence too. So I don't want you leaving here feeling that you're getting beat up by people that don't have confidence in you and the team. I do.
No, this is the time when I'm the most comfortable. When I feel like, hey, because you could be at that 5 star and it's nice and everything, but hey, when you have challenges and you can overcome those challenges and you're the underdog and you make it happen, everybody loves the underdog. Who doesn't love the underdog?
Well, that's actually, well, it's actually in kind of a weird way good that the Auditor General, maybe it's because he had a good challenger this year, has gotten his He's got his guys down there working on some of the problems in the state because, I mean, we really shouldn't be letting deficiencies go and having false reports.
No.
So, I mean, if it puts a little pressure on you guys, yeah, I mean, we can understand it. But moving forward, I think we have expectations where we'd like to see some increases in those star ratings.
And you will.
Great.
My staff, myself, everyone is all about the care of our residents and what we can do to improve it. So we're going to do it.
Great. Anybody else have any questions? Oh, hey.
Yeah, I don't want to give you a science project, because that's my intent. But is there any way that you could show the diminishing of the effects of that G rating over time? Because I know that we said we're going to affect it for 2 years. Is there any way you could depict that shelf life of that rating, like when that will be gone away? Or do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I want to Allison's point, I mean, because since we have this on our back right now, that G rating, all the other little things are even more important that we're perfect, and that's the only one that we have is that thing, so that when it goes away, we're in good shot. Is that possible? And believe me, I don't want you to go out of here saying that you're going to have to do hours and hours of work. If that's something that you could do, then that'd be fine.
Yeah. We can definitely do that.
Okay. Yeah. But don't make it.
No.
If it's too much, if it's like a lot of work, you got other stuff to do. But if that's something you could do, I'd like to see it next month.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Anyone have anything else?
Peg, you good? No, be quiet. Okay. All right. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
All right. Moving along on the last. Oh, not the last, but the third item on the agenda is the update from the Veterans Affairs Division.
Good evening, everyone.
Welcome.
Everything's going well, smoothly in the office. Still getting 10 or 15 calls per day. Some days are more, some days are less. A lot of people are very happy with the results of their claims that we've submitted. I'm getting a lot of good calls, positive calls, thanking myself and Stephanie, my staff. Since we know how big that staff is. And Matthew, in your question outside of the hallway about the program, over 300 veterans have come in. In the beginning, it was a large influx of veterans receiving the ID card. It has slowed down tremendously, but we're still getting maybe 5 a week off and on. And they're mostly walk-ins now because we don't need to schedule because that large volume just stopped. Everybody wanting it all at one time. But we're still getting about 5 a week. That's been working well. There are merchants that are accepting it, and I've told them, please get in contact with my office so we can put them on the list. I've been told that a lot of the smaller merchants especially are accepting them. It's like anything. You accept it, the word goes out. That's just money going into their company and into their business. And on a different note, on Good Friday, I was invited by Congressman Dent to meet with the new Secretary of Veterans Affairs, Dr. Shulkin, at Cedar Crest. It was a forum, maybe 20, 30 of us, could be a little more. And he was the Undersecretary of the health portion of the VA, the Health Administration, what's called the VHA, the Veterans Health Administration part. He was in charge of that. And after his appointment, after the president kept him on from Obama's administration, he made sure that the Health Choice program, which a lot of you veterans are aware of, it was a mess. They were only given 90 days to get this program up and running from beginning to the start. And he wanted to say what he wanted to say, but he couldn't say it, if you understand what my meaning of how bad the program is. He was there with his undersecretary, I forget his name, he's a medical doctor as well, and they promised that they're going to fix that program, because I get phone calls all the time about that Health Choice program. It's a program, for those of you who are not familiar with, that if a veteran, I believe, is more than 40 miles from a nearest clinic or medical facility, VA, the VA will then authorize doctors, private doctors who sign up to this program to treat the patients, and the VA will pay. The problem is, the VA doesn't pay, so the doctors say, we're not going to be part of this program. We need to get paid. We're doing your work. We're trying to ease your workload. So a lot of doctors said, look, we're not going to do it again until the problem is fixed. We need to get paid. We don't have a problem helping the veterans. But it's like anything. They want to get paid. Who doesn't want to get paid performing their work? So he promised that. There were a lot of top CEOs. St. Luke's was there. Lehigh Valley. I mean, the big people were there. The big CEOs were there. Presidents were there. So I think it was a very productive meeting on Good Friday. So I just wanted to bring that up. He seems to be a very personable person. He really wants to help.
The Health Choices program affects a lot of veterans locally here, because the Allentown outpatient clinic is what it is. It's just a clinic. You can go there for, family doctors and stuff. But if you need a specialist, and you live, in the south of the county, you have to drive up to Wilkes-Barre. And sometimes for a lot of the older veterans, that's tough. They actually offered it to me, and there were so many stipulations on what was covered, what was authorized. I was like, I didn't want to deal with this.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He said it. He said they made it work. They didn't give them enough time. 90 days was not enough to implement that program, countrywide.
Right.
Throughout the whole, but he promised to fix that. But
right.
He was very cordial, very nice, easy to talk to. There were a couple of guys he wanted to say, shut up, I can only do what I can do. And everything takes time, like everyone knows it. It doesn't happen overnight. But overall, the office is running fine. Really quick for Memorial Day, all the flags were gone. Everyone picked them up. Everyone's happy about that. We have a new vendor about the grave markers because of the bidding selection with, that process of getting the lowest bid and that person or company being awarded. And I've asked the veteran organizations that I distribute the flags and the markers to please give me feedback by by Veterans Day and into the winter to see if their product holds up to the past vendors that we've used. I want to make sure it's not an inferior product. And, our veterans deserve to have, and the families to have a decent grave marker and flags. A lot of people have been complaining about the flags, but right now I'm in what's called a co-op myself. This county and some other counties, we have to purchase from a certain vendor. I'm going to go back and take a look at that contract to see, because I'm getting way too many complaints about the flags. Like their quality isn't the best.
Yes.
From what it was 5-6 years ago. So that's got to be on the vendor and the manufacturer. So I'm going to look into that to see if this continues to maybe get out of that, try to somehow break that contract.
Are the flags made in America?
You're not the first one to ask. I did ask I think it's the Bucks or the Bucks County Director that's in charge of the co-op, and that question was asked, and he said yes. But if you look at the box,
it says me.
It says nothing.
That's an indicator.
It says nothing, and that, to me, I'm sure to you as well, gives me some, second thoughts. Like, if it's made in America, that's always proudly displayed in any box. Everyone's saying, yeah, made in America, but I looked at the box, that's not on anywhere. So, I'll look into that contract and see who they are, who the manufacturer is. I can't see them not being made. I really can't. I mean, if the news was to get hold of that, forget about it. It would not be good.
I go out Memorial Day, and I'll put flags out for family members, neighbors who passed away who are in the service. And those complaints are true. I mean, there's a lot of flags. There's only one staple holding them on. It's because I go out to Home Depot, Valley Forge, Made in America, and they're the flags that I get to put out there. Right. And there are times that you just, like I said, it's a beautiful sight when you walk through Memorial Day and you see all the flags up, and when you see how cheaply they're made,
right.
I'm not sure what the budget is for that, but that might be something, I'm sure that we could at least take care of our county veterans in that.
Right, because it reflects poorly on my office and it reflects poorly on the county. And, we do represent, the veterans, and they need to get the best. Even the simplest thing is a good quality flag. I mean, it goes a long way, especially for the families. Any questions?
Yeah, I have one, if I may. I went and got my picture taken finally for my ID.
Right.
And you need some lighting fixed in there? Do we need to put something in the budget to make it a little brighter for the pictures? Because it seems to be a cave, where you're taking the pictures at.
Well, we can always, we can always ask Stephanie to move the person where the lighting may be better.
Right, but if you need any overhead lighting, I mean, you could probably afford to put a light in to make it a little brighter for the pictures.
Yeah.
And the other thing is it's this weekend, right? Hanover Township's doing their flag raising for the veterans?
The 20th, yes.
It's the 20th, which is this weekend, right?
Saturday.
And where do you park for that? Where do they park for that? You've been there every year. Where do you go?
No, I don't go there all the time.
Okay. Because it's like in the middle, sitting on Island, in the middle of 512, and
512, and it's on the right. If you're going, I believe
you can walk 100 miles to get there.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know what they're
That's
doing.
on the township.
Where do you park? Well, tell us all at the mic so we all know.
There's plenty of room. They park you along the side of the road. They actually block off.
Right along the side of the road.
There's room for everybody to park.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Bertie. All right, because I wanted to go this year, and I just wanted to see if you knew that. All right, thank you.
Anyone else? Yes.
Yeah, I mentioned this before, but I went to, I belong to a group, Military Officers Association, Lehigh Valley, and I went to a luncheon, and Freddie spoke to the group and did a nice job and represented the county well. So I want to thank you, Freddie.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you for your, does everyone have any other questions? No? Okay. Well, thank you, Freddie, for coming and giving us an update on your department. We all appreciate your hard work and your dedication to the service members of the county here.
Thank you. It's my
Yep.
pleasure. Good night, everyone.
Oh, there's more?
To close the loop with veterans and Graysdale, we've had 3 veterans admitted to Graysdale under the VA contract.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, the building
Wow.
is fine. Thank you.
Great. Okay. If there's nothing else for the committee, motion to adjourn. Okay.